Okay, you're live.
Hey, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, it's Happy Holidays. It's Sonia and Kevin coming to you on Oils and More. Wanted to share just a couple things here at the end of the year. So I work for a medical device manufacturer and support Sonia with the oils business, but I work for a large company, and so I've been there for 15 years, and every year we look back and reflect on the year and see what have we done, how successful have we been, and we start thinking about the next year and some goals that we have, what we want to accomplish. The specific medical device company I work for had a CEO that served as the CEO and president of the company for over 30 years. Super awesome guy, and his mantra was 20% growth was an absolute requirement. So as you look back at year over year, you could very easily set expectations for how you wanted to achieve your specific business metrics and goals for the following year by just multiplying it by 1.2. So as we look at the Oils and More business, and Sonia, she's been reflecting on her year, and we've been looking at some of her numbers. We were interested in seeing, well, how have we done? How have we been growing year over year for the last few years? Now, keep in mind that typical inflation in the economy grows somewhere between 2 to 3%. With the economy the way it is today, it's pretty respectful to have an 7 or 8% growth year over year. But the cool thing about you being in the oils business is you really set your own goal for yourself. And if you think that 20% is achievable, then you should set 20% and go after that, but just know what it is. So I'm going to quick show you how to do this, an easy way to do it. And it requires you going and logging into youngliving.com, going into your organization, it's not called the back office, is it? It is a back office, whatever it's called. So you go into your organization, and you can look at and see historical months. So really quickly, I'm going to show you. Okay, I can't show you this stuff, so.
Yeah, you can't.
Okay,
You're not supposed to.
so you can't see anything else here, so this is
Okay,
good.
so-
But here's my organization, and we clicked on organization down there. We're on downline viewer, and if you want to come up over to this upper corner, you see up there it says December 2017. You can actually select every month you've ever been on.
I don't have that on the screen.
Okay, well, you'll still see
Yeah, you can see
some
that,
numbers
but you
there.
can't see people.
Okay, so if you click on this, you can see any month in your past. So you can go back and you can look at any month that you've ever been in. February 2016 is this one. So I took those numbers, and now this you can show the whole thing
I
here.
can show now.
Okay, so this, I took all of our numbers from 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, just month, and I took the total overall growth group volume, OGV. These are just the figures rounded off there. So I took it for each year, and then I totaled those up. And so here's 2014, you can see the total there, 2015 the total, 2016 the total, 2017 the total. So you can see those numbers, and really easily, now when you're a small company and you want to grow big time, to go from 36 OGV, this is for the entire year cumulative, I just added all 2014, to go from that to 284,000 OGV in 1 year, certainly that is massive growth. It's over 6 times growth. Now, as you start getting larger and larger, it's a little bit harder to sustain that. To go 6 times over 284 would put you somewhere in the 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 million OGV for the total year. Again, this isn't a month, this is total year. But you see in 2016, we were at 436. So you can see it's not quite double, so it's 53% growth there. Is the actual figure of that. And then you look at 2017, 436 to 587, that's 35% growth. So although it doesn't look like that there's been very much growth here, certainly it's a very respectful amount. And so as you look at your business and you think of what you want to achieve, the easy way to calculate this, sorry I didn't tell you how to calculate that, just take your current year total, divide that by last year's total, and it'll give you a number that's larger than 1. Subtract 1 off of that, and then multiply it by 100, and that'll give you your growth percentage. So very easy. Take this year's number, divide it by last year's number, subtract 1 away from that, you'll be left with a decimal, multiply it by 100, and you get your growth percentage. So as you get bigger and bigger, though, just realize that it's harder and harder to maintain the 20% or the super high numbers. It's more realistic to look at some things that are in the single digits or maybe the low double digits. Even the large medical device company that I work for, what used to be a requirement of 20% growth year over year, is no longer that. It's down to, we want to be the fastest growing in our industry or in our market. So we want to make sure we're outpacing the competitors. And sometimes that means that it's in the low teens, sometimes that means it's 20, sometimes it might even be high single digits, just depending on how the economy is doing. But that's a really quick way to look at your previous years. Think about how you're doing, think about the growth. Let's celebrate the success. And then if you want to start thinking about your next year and what percentages you might want to increase in order to attain some goals, it's really easy. Just multiply it by whatever that percentage. Let's say I want to grow 10% next year. Take this year's number, multiply it by...
Let's do 20%.
Okay, 20%. I'll take this year's number, which is 587,000. I'll multiply that by 1.2. So 1.2 is the factor there, because if I multiply by 1, that's 100%. That's the same number as this year. But if I multiply by 1.2, that gives me the number for next year. And that number is, I'll tell you what we're looking at. 1.2 times the number that we had for this year's total growth would result in about 705,000 total OGV for the entire year of 2018. Keep that in mind. So divide that by 12 then and figure out what you need each month. So... okay. A little bit of reflection, celebration on a wonderful 2017, and start thinking about 2018 and what you want. And if 20% is your number, I think you can do better than that. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, have a great day.